Not Siam, everybody. Siaya, thanking each and every one of you. This is our 15-day countdown meeting for the gathering of the Eagles, Escal Quellington. Really appreciate each and every one of you coming on. This is probably going to be a small group compared to when we get together on the 20th and 21st for orientation. And so I just wanted, it's been real tough here at Lummi. We lost a real young lady this week. Today was her funeral. So I'll just ask everybody to pray in your own way. We'll just ask our great heavenly Holy One to bless each and every one of you, from the youngest to the oldest. We know we've all lost somebody during the last 2 years of this pandemic, and we're just trying to come back together in a good way. And some of us have tender hearts, and it's Mother's Day weekend, and some of us don't have mothers. And so, but we all know that we all have each other. And I just want to thank you, Grandfather, and thank all of our ancestors. We all have ancestors. All of us, each and every one of you. And I thank you. And I recognize them. We have a couple more weeks, and we just ask the great heavenly ones to shine their light upon us, to open the skies and calm the waters. We pray for the rest of the country because we're pretty lucky that we're not burning up yet. And I really just thank the spirit of the Salish Sea. Thank all of the friends and new family and new faces and the new places that we're endeavoring to approach, which is my homeland, the homeland where my ancestors are buried in the Clackamas territories. And so, Grandfather, just blessing on everybody that's here, everybody that's listening, getting prepared to come on the journey. And we do it in a good heart and a good mind, sharing and caring in the spirit of the Salish Sea, all my relations. Thank you. Well, there's a few of us, so I'm going to take these few moments and we'll pass it around. So I'm going to pass Freddie Lane, Salceda, host and organizer. Been here since, oh my God, a couple years now, since Jeff and Jody and I just really started thinking about doing something. Really good to be here. Good to see each of you. And I'll pass it to David Turnoy.
Hi, David Turnoy. Not a support boat, just an organizer from Orcas. And I'll pass it to Jody.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be joining you today. I'm calling from the territory of the Northern Coast Salish Nations up in British Columbia. I'm a member of the Teclem Clem Canoe family and a well-oiled volunteer for Freddie to do whatever it is he needs us to do. And we're delighted to be visiting the territories down there, and looking forward as well to the summer when we come back for Awaken the Canoes. So nice to see everybody. I hope you're all safe. And I will pass it to Jen.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jen Tracy. I live in Bellingham, just about a half a mile from the Salish Sea. And I had reached out to Freddie just with a deep desire to volunteer and to help out. It's entirely possible that I should be in the meetings or the orientation for volunteers. But if there's any, I'm here to offer my help and my support. And let's see, I had passed it to somebody. How about Mary?
My name is Mary and I'm with Carver's Camp. I'll be traveling the journey this year. I've been helping to organize as much as possible. And I don't know if you can see me. I'm in a car. We're going to do some things to get ready today. And I'm grateful to be a part of this and to help as much as I can. Thanks. Grateful to be here and thanks for everybody to be here today. I'll pass it on to Rick because that's who I can see on my phone right now.
Rick Rhodes, I live on Orcas Island, have boat, will travel, and I'll pass it on to my fellow food bank volunteer, Will.
Hi everyone, my name is Will. I also live on Orcas Island and I will be a safety boat on the journey from Friday Harbor to Camp Orcas. And I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. I'll pass it to Paul.
Hello, everybody. I'm on Lopez Island and I'm helping Kai. I'll be there to greet the families and the paddlers and help everyone get settled once they arrive. And also, I have a few potential safety boat skippers lined up. I will pass it to Carol.
Thank you, Paul. Carol DePogny. I work at Orcas Island Library. I'm actually on my boat home now, and we'd like to offer up our boat as a support boat. I'm checking out the charts, though. We draw 9 feet, so I'm a little worried some of the docks might be a little shallow for us. So hopefully we can figure out on this call whether or not it's viable. And I will pass it off to Deb Cruz.
I'm Deb Cruz. I'm with the Bellingham Unitarian Fellowship and running shotgun with Freddie on whatever he needs. Yeah, I think that's it for me. And I have no clue who's gone and who's not gone. Jennifer, have you gone?
Go ahead, Jennifer.
No. Hi, my name is Jennifer. I live on the East Coast near Baltimore, Maryland. I'll be flying in May 18th to be there for the full journey. I've been helping, I set up a GoFundMe page to raise funds. I also designed a couple of t-shirts for a fundraiser, and I'm happy to help out wherever necessary. It'll be my first canoe journey, and I'll be journeying with Carver's Camp. And I'll pass it to Captain John.
Hi, I'm John Stone. I'm the captain of the sailing vessel Cutty-Sark. I am the safety vessel for Carver's Camp. I'll be leaving Whidbey and meeting up with the canoes at Washington Park, and then I will be following and providing safety as I can all the way through from Washington Park to Lummi. I'll ask Bart to share.
Unmute. Okay, I'm Bart Brewer Teedsta from Chief Leshai Canoe Family. Still waiting for our skipper to find the web link to get in here, but we're coming up on hopefully Saturday to bring our canoe. Hopefully we can find a place to store our trailer up there. We got a lot happening down in Puyallup with first fish ceremony. We got a life celebration of a former staff person from our school. But we had a meeting yesterday at school with our school board member, part of tribal council, to get ready for the 22nd. And I'll pass it on to, I think, Jen.
Did Jen go already? Where's Jen at? Okay, let's go to Sarah.
Sorry, I did.
Oh, there you go. Okay, Jen, you already went, right?
I did. Yep.
Okay, let's go to Sarah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah. I'm on the east end of Orcas Island. I have attended the welcoming of several canoe journeys over the years. And I am offering to help with food at Camper Kyla, which I have a couple questions about when the time comes.
Wonderful. Thanks. Thanks, Sarah. Maui, you're on live.
Aloha. I'm Anella. This is Auntie Franny. We are going to be coming in the evening of the 21st. We actually have a voyaging camp here on Maui that runs from the 15th through the 20th. So as soon as we're done, the very next day we get on a plane and we get there late at night and drive to Freddie's house. So we may not get there till midnight. But we do have a canoe that Autumn Rose has offered us her canoe, so she will deliver it to Anna Cortez before on the 21st, so it should be ready for us on the 22nd. And I've been working with Mary. Aloha, Mary. Good to finally see your face. Who will be helping us with some of our needs, and we'll be traveling with her and her crew along the way. But looking forward to seeing you all.
All right, thanks, Anella. Hi, Auntie Franny. Love you. We'll go to let's go to Lucas. Did you go, Lucas?
No, Enam Winictwa, Sweetska Ilp. My name is Red Spike Elk, Lucas Angus, head skipper for Seven Waters Canoe Family. And I just talked to Jody yesterday and she informed me of this, what's going on here. So I'm just seeing what's up and seeing if we're maybe can attend.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I know it's, I kind of anticipated this. So just, yeah, we have 6 canoes right now, which I'm happy with. But if you decide to join me, Lucas, I'll post my number and you just give me a call anytime when you guys get so we can really get a good head count. And Jana, go ahead, Jana.
Hi, Jana, First Bay State Park and Garden of the Salish Sea curriculum. I'm looking forward to seeing you all soon.
And remind me, Jana, there's some canoes that might be coming on that Friday and launching from Birch Bay. Okay, those are developments.
You're all set. Whatever happens,
okay.
happens. You're all set. We've got you, and if you need whatever you need, just let me know.
Right. Don't you love how I take business just like this? Okay, and Nancy, Mary Boy. Hi, Nancy.
Hello. I finally got in. Thanks to Kai and somewhat to Stephanie too, who said she couldn't get in. But thank you, Kai, for sending me the link.
And you're on which island? Go ahead. We're just doing introductions, Nancy.
Oh, yeah, I'm on San Juan Island and I'm Nancy Maryboy. I run the Indigenous Education Institute here. I'm Cherokee and Navajo, and I'm looking forward to welcoming my Diné relatives when they come up here.
Oh, wonderful. Did we miss anybody?
Tasha, Chuck.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I linked in by phone, so I can't see anyone. I don't have Zoom, but hello. I am Susan Tasha Chuck. I was gifted the name by Mary Green of the Wyatch and the McCaw Nation. And I've been on the journey now, not counting COVID, it would be 15 years, and have been filming the Salish Sea and been in the canoe with all the various, many of you I know, and am happy to participate. I'm offering up to be a puller if there's a need. I have a sustainable watersheds project, and we were also gifted a little sailboat called Partnership that says actually sustaining watersheds and the people who need them right on the side. So we do have a little project in water education. I'm not sure if that boat will go along, but it's a possibility. And then whatever I can do to support the water, I'm open to in the canoe families. I've been on the water in the canoe for those 15 years, and I hope to be that way this year too. So I'm happy to join you and really looking forward to sharing experiences and really good spirit. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. And then, and last but certainly not least, the one, the only, the incomparable first stopover on Lopez Island, the lady that is leading it all, Kai Sanborn.
Wow, Fred,
Freddie.
you got Michael too.
Yeah, and I think there's Rick Rhodes. I don't know that he
Rick
went.
already went, but Dave Roseberry,
okay.
Dave Roseberry hasn't gone yet.
Okay.
And Michael hasn't gone either.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be brief. I'm not. My name is Kai. I live on Lopez, and Freddie and I met years ago, briefly at a filming of one of his films, and then I helped with the annual canoe landing several years ago on Lopez. And Freddie and I also, and Deb, have a shared interest in the rights of nature. So it's an honor and a privilege to be working with this group and to imagine the canoes coming across the waters from so many different places. So thank you. What a privilege.
Thanks, Kai.
Lucas was a part of that project too.
Mr. Roseberry.
Yes, sir. I'm Dave Roseberry. I live on Orcas, skipper of the sailing vessel October. Been to several journeys. I'm just here to support. I will be from Washington Park to Lummi on all points of this one. It's a pleasure to serve. I'm a member of the Peoria Indians of Oklahoma. And my interest is keeping something like this. Can I help? And I think Mike is the next one.
Who is Mike?
Hi there. Yes, my name is Michael O'Leary. I consult with ecotourism operators, non-tribal companies in the Pacific Northwest. And that includes members of the Pacific Whale Watch Association and their staff. That's the whale watching fleet in the Salish Sea, both sides of the US-Canadian border. We have a number of boats that are out on the water on a daily basis, busy taking folks out for an experience, seeing the transient whales, the grays. Now I think we've got our first humpback into the spring. And so I wanted to sit in and learn how our boats can safely interact and honor your experience and what we can do to share these waters with you on this wonderful, amazing journey.
Thank you, Mike. I think this is one of the biggest meetings I've had to date, and they're only going to get bigger. And next time we probably won't be able to do that. But with that, thank each and every one of you. Blessings to you. Thank you for taking your time. Again, we're on a 15-day countdown, so I'm going to try and be brief, which gets kind of difficult when it starts getting detailed. I'm uploading right now. If you're not on the page, the Gathering of the Eagles, that's where a good majority of our updates are coming through. We'll email out. They might forward it. I don't have a whole entire email list of everybody. But we will get the latest updates probably every 3 to 4 days. from here on out. So just be aware that there are a few things changing. As of now, we are still on schedule. If there's a 25 knot wind on the 22nd, then we're not paddling. That's kind of how we're going to assess each day their safety concern that that we're all going to go through. So all of our skippers, and when we say we're having a skippers meeting, or you see a skippers meeting, and you're on a safety boat, and we're going to leave the next day, let's make sure you just really make sure that you're on the meeting, because that's where everything's going to take place. I'm going to let you know right now, I probably will be handing everything off to Mary and the Lummi delegations. That Mary is going to be, she's been on every single meeting with me ever since we've been planning this. So Mary has gracefully said that she would lead, but she's on the canoe, so it'll get kind of complicated. But we are trying to send a delegation. There's a delegation that's going to be following on the shore. And we're going to ask our team that's going to follow along the shore with those that are going to follow each stop. We're going to make sure that, we want the safest journey for each and everyone's visit down to the beach. Every landing site is different. And so there'll be a lot of details coming out on orientation. Okay, so orientation, that's when we're going to have the final, and we just really want everyone to at least make one meeting if you can, because we'll have all of our team leaders. I'm going to get ready to pass it over to Kai after I'm done here, just so she can we can start talking about the safety boats leaving Anacortes and coming into Lopez Island. So this is our safety boat meeting. So I don't want to like pick and choose, but we have a lot of captains on. I don't want to take up too much time because some of them are actually out on the water right now, which is great. And so Kai and Kai, do you want to say a few words?
Freddie, could I just ask a quick question before you go on? It's
go ahead, David.
Related to the orientation meetings. I've received a link that I passed on to all my volunteers for the meeting on the Friday, the 20th. Is that going to be the same link on Saturday?
That'll be the same link. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I was hacked at one meeting and we were live, and it was I don't know why I'm paranoid now of being hacked. But I'll get better with the technology. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up, David. Appreciate it. Kai?
Yeah, I don't. What would you like? What can I start with? I think we've got most of the volunteering covered. Paul has been really great at being able to connect with the park and get things organized there. Odland Park's pretty easy to anchor off of. It's got a long, shallow beach, so there should be pretty good water for people to be there. And I know that I've seen some of you here before with your boats. Paul is more of a boater, so he might have something to add. We did a GoFundMe and we were able to raise some money. So I think our group decided we would be able to offer ferry passes for the canoe families, the ones that are traveling by car. And I'm not sure what else I can help you with, unless Paul wants to speak up about some of the boat things that he knows.
Yeah, let's go ahead, Paul. I know you and David have been really, but this will be the first leg. Just so everybody knows, we're soft. Yeah, I think you already know we're soft landing at Spencer Spit State Park. So, and okay, so what I'm imagining is that, okay, we're gonna leave Lummi here at 6:15. We're an hour out. Okay, I'm just giving you a scenario. We're gonna get to Washington Park in Anacortes at about 7:15, and then we'll all unload. The canoes will be getting their canoes ready, making sure, they got everyone's got to have their checklist, and we will go over all these, their CB, their cell number. We'll make sure we have we'll get a list of numbers for each of the safety boats, and this is just for us. I wanted to do it in like a plastic. I want all of our numbers for each canoe family, so should they need to get a hold of our main vessels, I think would be our lead safety boats. I can look at that right now, and I heard there's 2 safety boats. Is that Captain Jack and there was one other that's going the full route?
Dave Roseberry? Yeah.
And Dave Roseberry, right?
Yes.
Okay,
And
so
Captain John.
And Captain
John
John
as well.
Yeah, sorry, I call him Captain Jack. Why?
That's okay. It sounds good, but I don't go by Jack. Thanks, Freddie.
And
So,
Dave Roseberry, are you bringing the other 2 boats along with you the whole way as well?
I believe that they're going to be in and out. They are going to be with me for the Washington Park to Lopez, and the other crossing from Orcas to Lummi near the end. And I don't know what the in the middle is.
So do you need more safety boats, Fred? What's the first leg?
The first leg is on page 6. It's Anacortes to Lopez. So let's just kind of look at those times right there. Real quick, Dave and Captain John. So we'll have definitely the 2 of you. Is that correct?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put 1, 2. Okay. And then do we plan on having anybody else at this time? Do we need to put the word out? Okay, so Paul?
Yeah, I've got some skippers lined up. Unfortunately, my most experienced skipper, who's traveled from the Mekong Delta to the Arctic Ocean, and his exhaust just cracked on his boat. So all of a sudden he's not available. But I have 1 other for sure, and I have 2 others that are waiting for their boats to be put in the water. So I have potentially 3, but my question is, I see 3 boats already, because Chief Flesheye said they'll have a support vessel. And so my question is, how many vessels do you think we need, and how many should I encourage to continue or to show up at Washington Park?
Bart, so you guys will have a safety boat coming from Puyallup for the 2 canoes. Is that correct? Okay. So that looks like we got 6 there in my count, which is a real good, that is a really good count, especially coming across Rosario here, because that's, there's going to be tanker traffic that morning. That you know how fast tankers move, and I think that's going to be a real we have a big tide. I'm looking at the tide is high at 9:14. Okay, so that's an Anacortes tide, and then it's a minus 0.5 tide that day. So what Chief Leshai or what Scott Barr had mentioned was that they thought they were going to leave at 8, which I thought might be at least leave by 8:15, because then we're catching the slack tide coming across, and then the tide starts to move. And once the canoes get between what is that, Blakely, get past Blakely there, you know, the canoes, the canoes might, I'm just thinking after they get across there, they might want to take a little break, stop at the beach there right at the end of Blakely, is that?
Yeah.
And then either let some canoes catch up, and then Spencer is just a little hop and a skip from there. They just got to watch. I think the skippers are going to have to really be aware of how fast those ferries travel, because they'll look far away and then they'll be right there. And maybe one of the captains can gracefully give, I don't know if anybody knows any of the skippers or talks with any of the skippers on the ferries there that day, but I think it would be good to give them a packet so they know what our schedule and time, and that we'll have 6 to 10 canoes paddling across, and they could be aware of that. So go ahead, Captain John.
It'll be important to alert vessel traffic, and then they will alert all the shipping that we're going across. That doesn't mean that gives us any right of way, but at least they'll be aware of the fact that we're crossing the shipping lanes.
Yeah. And there is a stop potential at James Island on the northeast corner. There's a nice little bay there that is, I think that's the first, I'll call it hidey hole that can be used.
And so what, just off the top of your head, if a canoe's doing 3 miles an hour, what is it? What's the time that you would estimate coming from Washington Park to the south end of, is it Blakely Island or James Island?
Yeah, James. I believe that I would give 2 to 2.5 hours.
Okay, so that might be a good break. So when we have the skippers meeting in the morning, or that morning, that'll be determined. Yeah. And you know, some of the canoes just might get tired, or I know the Hawaiians, they'll be there. They'll be there. They'll just dust you all. I'm just gonna tell you guys all that. But, you know, we all know this ain't a race, and we know how tough those Hawaiians are, and you know that's okay. But there'll be that real lookout there too. You know, really, because that tide, you know, it'll start moving, and they're you know, it's the Salish Sea, so we just got to let them know, hey, the tide's, it'll be slack, 8 o'clock coming on slack, and I think they'll have good tide. And then is there a place at Spencer Spit State Park for the, oh God, I'm gonna say the boats, for the safety boats to more? I'm just kind of curious. You can anchor.
Well, Spencer Spit has a state park with mooring buoys.
Oh, okay.
And so, how long were you planning on staying on Spencer Spit?
The landing's at 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just consistent.
Well, I did it. Our canoe averages about 2.5 knots. We're not one of the. We're not a racing canoe. Ours is a Numiac, and so I did some figuring. Going across Rosario Strait, they can do it in a little over an hour and a half, because the current will actually be with them for a ways. But continuing on to get to the landing at 4 o'clock, they can go by Spencer Spit and wave, but they've got to keep on trucking.
Yeah. So that's our stopping point there. So either the safety boats are gonna moor, because then the paddle and the arrival at Odland Park at 4 o'clock, we would have to leave Spencer Spit at what time?
I would think 2 o'clock.
Okay, 2 o'clock. Okay.
That's a guess. Captain John, you might know, you might have a better estimate.
Well, I'm just looking at my chart right now, and if you can trust my predictor here, we would get into Spencer Spit about 11:30, leaving at 8:30 from Washington Park, and then we just looking at this, you could probably go until about 12:15, but that's about it for our canoe. Remember, our canoe is a little bit slower than most of the other sleeker canoes. And ours has been an elder canoe, but we might have, if we have some of the Hawaiians paddling with us and with their experience, maybe we can pick up a half an hour.
2 extra people. We'll be happy to.
There we go. Then we're fine.
Oh, that'll be great, because then if let's just say we're gonna put Spencer Spit. You say it's an hour and a half, so we leave at 8:30.
It's an hour and a half to the south end of Blakely. It's another hour or so on to Spencer Spit.
So we'd say about 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say 11 o'clock we arrive, and this is the soft landing. This is going to be,
but it's a long haul from Spencer Spit onto Odland Park, because you got to go all the way over Upright Head and then back down.
Yeah.
As the crow flies, it's not very far, but our canoe doesn't fly like a crow.
Okay, so what time do we have to leave Spencer Spit?
Well, our canoe would have to leave by 12:15 to make it to Odland by 4.
So it'll take your canoe 4 hours to get around.
Yeah.
Okay.
If my predictor, I mean, I'm using a computer, and it sometimes doesn't get the tides right, but it's pretty good, really.
Yeah, I think that.
But again, I'm counting on a 2.5 knot speed. With the Hawaiians, we'll probably go 3.5 knots.
Yeah,
because that's no problem.
Yeah, because when we get around the corner, so we'll know the speed of everybody's canoe. Okay, so I want every captain to think about that. We'll know the speed, and then who needs to leave a little bit early. So that, because when we say 4 o'clock and the canoes are there at 3:45, it kind of, I don't want to be picky about arrival times, but I guess we can start letting people know, the times will fluctuate there. So okay, so for the sake of argument, we're at Spencer, 11 a.m. I'm going to put down, this is a soft landing. The canoe families will probably jump in their vans, either have a picnic with everyone, say hi. This is kind of an informal, meet everybody. Anybody that wants to come down to Spencer Spit and see the canoes, do the soft landing, they are welcome. Okay, so this will be the first introduction and the first intro to the community. So that is an open event. Anybody that may not make it that afternoon, this is going to be an open event for the canoes to, I imagine the canoes will be in about 10:20, 10:15. That's just kind of me thinking 2.5 hours. But And then we'd have to leave Spencer at least by 1. Looking at that distance, and then Spencer to Odland, to me, it doesn't look like it's a 4-hour pull. But for Captain John, their canoe might have to leave a little earlier. So
well, this is taking into consideration the currents, because they'll have the currents with them going across Rosario, and then currents start getting against them as they work up upright channel.
Yeah.
The mileage on all these legs, and maybe I can email that to Mary, who could send it out. But what I saw was 4.2 knots from Spencer Spit to Odland Park. So, you know, I didn't actually check currents that day, so that, you know, that could make that more of an arduous journey. But it is just a little over 4 nautical miles.
With coats.
Okay, so we'll do an ETA.
Grab the drill and get in the truck or the van.
Do an ETA at 11, and then ETA departure about noon. Okay. So it'll be a 1-hour stopover.
I mean, you know, 12:30 probably be still okay. Again, I haven't factored in the fact that we probably will have younger paddlers than, I mean, we in the past have had a couple of 80-year-old and 75-year-old paddlers, pullers. So again, I think Mary said that we're going to have a younger crew, so we could probably cover a lot more ground. It's just that over the last several years, we've been averaging about 2.5 knots. If we can do 3 knots, that makes a big difference.
And I am optimistic we will be able to approach closer to 3.
Well, then don't worry about anything I said. It's all out the window.
Let's say 1 o'clock. Okay. We've got to be off the beach by 1. Yeah. And if we come in at 4 or after, we're great. Okay, so I think that's pretty reasonable. It'll give some of the pullers time to set up their tents and help the ground crew. And then Spencer Spit is what, 5-10 minutes away?
Freddie, I just want to say some people should be aware that it is a bit of a walk down a little bit of a hill. We can get permission from the parks for some cars to bring people down, but for the most part, it is park up above and then walk down. But we can contact the Spencer Spit Park to get permission for vehicles for elders if that's necessary.
Okay, yeah, I think that'll be really good, Kai, to even for the canoe families, because the canoe pullers, if we can get their vehicles, we'll have special parking passes to hand out for all the event staff, so that we just go right through. But I think that'll be good, Kai, because then they could load up, run back if they have to the campground 10-15 minutes away at Odland Park, help set up, get refreshed, grab a bite to eat, and then come back down. That's kind of the, and then, people will see them leave down there. I imagine we'll have 20 to, 30 people there just from the island that are curious to come. Because this will probably be the first time our canoes landed at Spencer Spit in probably over 165 years. And so it's all going to be really remarkable seeing them come around. And then arrival at 4. So for the safety boats, where is the nearest mooring for the safety boats if they can't hang around I just want to make sure that everyone's able to park for a couple hours and be right with the canoes.
Are you talking at Spencer Spit or are you talking at Odland Park?
Spencer Spit, yeah.
There's quite a field. There are mooring balls, and then it's actually pretty good anchoring.
Okay.
We can't get ashore, I mean, except in dinghies, but there's no dock there or anything.
Okay.
But dinghies, and there's wind protection from either side. It's a long, narrow spit, and there's, I'll call it wind and wave protection either side of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then is that all on the, so we'll do the official landing. So just so everyone's clear, when the canoes come in, so they'll be coming from where the ferry terminal is around the corner. They'll come by, and just so everyone knows, they do what we call our victory paddle. And the canoes will come right along the shore. The announcer was saying, hey, it's the Hawaiian Voyaging Canoe Society. Give them a round of applause. Everyone screams, and, we're all cheering them on. And they recognize, announce the next canoes in the protocol, the order, from the farthest to the closest. And so if any of the safety boats want a moor right away, I think that'll be fine. I think having and making sure that there's one safety boat out of all the safety boats that are there that is at the absolute beginning, and one that is following the last canoe.
Yeah.
So that's really the important, and the in-betweens. And then that night we moor, come ashore. I heard there's pizza. Can I put pizza on the menu or no, Kai?
You can. We thanks to Paul, we got a pizza oven that we got down there, and a lot of fancy negotiating on Paul's part. So
all right.
And, Donna Hasbrook, who's going to be cooking that pizza.
That's great.
Freddie, I just recalculated, armed with Mary assuring me she can go 3 knots. That Squillich can go 3 knots. If that's the case, then you can probably spend almost 2 hours at Spencer Spit, and we'll be fine with the 4 o'clock.
Okay. Okay. And then I don't have a ferry, but what would be that ferry that every last person that's going to get there in time for the event? Is that the 1042 or 1045? I'm sorry if I was trying to put on this schedule too, that everybody needs to be on that last ferry before, to be able to catch up. Because I think they'll have to catch, is it the 7 a.m.? I think.
What I see on the current ferry schedule is a 6:20 a.m. and then a 10:35 a.m. and the next one is at 11:35. And the people who are planning on bringing cars might want to make reservations, and you and I can go over some of that. Those shouldn't be very hard boats to get on a Sunday. It's harder getting off island on that day, but those are the times for that Anacortes Lopez.
What time did you say? 6:20. Okay.
Early morning, red eye, and then the 10:35.
And then the 11.
11:55. The one after that is 12:35, and then there's some much later. And everyone just needs to know that the ferries have been, despite their best efforts, somewhat less than fully reliable. So lots of flexibility happens around the ferries.
Okay, we'll talk in detail, Kai, about reservations there.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So
okay.
One thing,
go ahead, Paul.
Sorry, Freddie. One thing I just learned from a former ferry captain who lives on the island, the ferry runs through 2-week assignments for work. And at the end of the 2 weeks is when they have trouble filling crew oftentimes. So every 2 weeks you see these canceled sailings. Fortunately for the 22nd, I believe that's the very beginning of a 2-week period. And so chances are the vessels will be very reliable.
Okay. Okay.
And this is Mary, and I do have an update. They're going to release new spaces tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. Right now, that turn 35 and 620, that selling is full, but they're opening new spaces tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
Okay, good to know. Thank you, Mary.
And they do open additional spaces 2 days before. If there are some latecomers, they need to do that early thing 2 days before on Friday morning.
Yeah, Bart, just for example, Puyallup Chief Lushai is going to have how many vehicles? 3, 4, 5. I know some people will bring their own vehicles. You guys will probably have the biggest crew going through. I was just trying to think. I'm not trying to think for you, but I know you guys will have a couple of vans, right? Okay.
Like, I'm not sure if Puyallup coming along with us. I think we're on our own for this time. I think we're planning at least 5 or 6 vehicles with a trailer and that for our camping stuff and kitchen.
Okay, and you guys all take care of all your reservation. Are you getting reservations and everything okay? Do you need help with that with Kai?
We might need help because we got some crew that's going to be paddling 2 days and then going back to work for the last 2 days. And then we'll have some people switching and so forth.
Yeah, if you need any paddlers too, I got 5 on standby. So anybody to help with ground crew setup. I know we're kind of going to be bare because people got work and whatnot, but you let me know because we got a few people that can help out anyway. And Kai, can you put your number up just so if anybody on Lopez needs to get a hold of you? And I'm going to put my number up too. And anybody just at this point, I just think it's just easier to call. You could text me but if you email me, I am just inundated right now. And it's just easier to say, hey, can we do this? And we'll just handle it right there. I think that sounds good for the 22nd. I'm going to page 7 on the 23rd. From Lopez Island. It's a short paddle. And I jokingly say that because it's probably at least a couple hours. 10:59 is the low tide. Skippers. Or high tide is at 11 a.m. And I don't see Matt on here. I imagine, okay, so this is what I put. If we left San Juan Island, Captain John, do you have any suggestions of a departure?
You're talking about going from Lopez to Friday Harbor?
Yes.
That route?
Yeah.
Yeah, the currents are with you.
Yeah.
I have it, that you were going to leave around noonish, and that gets you into Friday Harbor with our crew. Now that I've upgraded to a 3-knot paddle, they'll get in about 1:30.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. They'll have quite the stopover there on Brown Island.
Now, where do they land on Brown Island? I thought that was pretty rocky.
I wish Matt was on here. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it because where did they land before? Did they land down and around the corner a little bit from kind of was that kind of in North Griffin Bay? Is that correct?
last year, the Blue Heron and went into a south of the ferry landing, and it's right next door to Shipyard Cove, which also got Jensen Shipyard. And we were welcomed on the beach and told that we can use that anytime if we're going to Friday Harbor town. It's probably a half a mile walk, maybe 3/4 into town. If we're, did somebody say Roach Harbor?
No.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, when we went over on San Juan Island and we did the on-site in March, they said the canoes landed right down there. And so we were coming from where the canoes are going to land, which is at the little harbor there south of Friday Harbor.
Yes.
And so they said the canoes landed down there the last time. It was in San Juan Channel. It was on kind of north, I guess. And when you drive there from where the canoes are going to land, it's just like 2 minutes, and boom, you're there already around the corner.
That's where it is. Yes.
And I actually think, okay, I'm just thinking logistically, for a soft landing, I think that's safer. Because there's no way to get to anybody on Brown Island. And I hate to say it, there's going to be 559 boats in Friday Harbor. Oh my God, I said boats. And I just, okay, so just kind of hear me out. When I was there, and I wish Stephanie was on too, and Matt, but I just think that soft landing could be at that stop. And then that way people don't see all the canoes and there's all this commotion, and the canoes are just going to sit on Brown Island for.
Yeah, there's also some restrictions right now in Friday Harbor. There's the whole part, because of the fire that happened a couple of weeks ago, there's a lot of restrictions on getting to the ferry area, and a lot of roads are blocked off. So I think your suggestion is really good.
Does anybody know what that's called, that beach? There were some pilings there. They said that was the old ferry and whatnot. And I was like, oh, really? And there's like this little mine. There's like I know you on San Juan Island, probably, it's like a little, where they get dirt.
Gravel pit?
It's like a gravel pit there.
Oh, that's what we call it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But that's across the street, so I'm not sure what.
Yes. Okay. At the gravel pit, and that's called Jackson's Beach.
Yeah.
Jackson's Beach. That's right.
Yes.
That would be nice.
I think that just because
that's a wonderful spot.
Just because it's like Spencer State Park, they're going to have a couple hours to sit there. People can come and say hi and meet all the canoe families. And it's kind of, again, informal until the formal landing, and the canoes can stay there. Again, the tide's low, right at 5:45, but the paddle would be what? Maybe 45 minutes from there to Friday Harbor. An hour?
An hour.
Okay. Jackson Beach. Okay, so that's a logistical change that I'm going to suggest.
And I believe that's a county park.
Okay.
The way that's set up.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, and then okay, so that'll be the soft landing. So the canoes leave, come over. They have lunch again. That's kind of how I think they'll probably sit at the soft landing, and then leave about. I think if they left around 3, from Jackson Park to go to the official landing.
Hey, can I just say something?
Go ahead.
According to my map here, Jackson Beach faces the other side from, you know, from where the ferry is and where Brown Island is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's no way to paddle from there into the main part of Friday Harbor. You'd have to go over land.
Yeah, no, that's the whole purpose of the soft landing. So again, the departure, should this change, and you know, we'd go to Jackson Beach first, and then paddle from Jackson Beach back around and come officially into Friday Harbor.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah,
there's no way to do that. It's on the other side. It faces the other water.
Yeah, and so that's the soft. So that would be, they'll have to paddle from Jackson Beach to my when I was there on the visit, they had it was like, it wasn't even 5 minutes from the fairgrounds. It was just like a little, and I think it would be more convenient for any elders, any visitors, anybody to say, hey, the canoes are down at Jackson Beach. Because when they come in Friday Harbor, it's going to be a mess. I'll just say it right now. It'll be a logistical traffic nightmare if we're not there early. And I'm just being realistic. I do the same thing with ours. And so I was just trying to think, what would be more feasible for what we're trying to do, rather than, you know, maybe we leave a little bit earlier for Jackson Beach. I think that would be really good. And then we can get a good nautical mileage on that to talk with Matt and them, because if there's stuff, if there was an accident, what was there, fire in Friday Harbor, we'll have to, I just think it'd be easier to compensate that from an organizational standpoint. So, so let's just say, for the sake of argument, they leave at 3 p.m. from Jackson Beach, paddle to the official landing at the inside south of Friday Harbor there. Everybody will be down on the beach. It's a beautiful, beautiful private beach. The owner allowed us the opportunity. They're Hawaiian. They're just beautiful people. And so, and then it's like 5-minute walk to the campground from there too. And then, so the Victory Paddle will be at 4. As far as vessels, we can plan on Captain John and Dave Roseberry.
Yes, sir.
They'll both be both you guys will be on that route.
Yep.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just trying to figure out where the heck Jackson Beach is. It didn't show on my charts, but I have now found it. So
okay.
So it's south of the little peninsula off of Turn Island.
Yeah.
And so we could soft land there, and then we'd have to come around. But we've got a lot of time, and the currents are with us getting to it. We may have a little bit of problem going around Turn Island, because the currents can be pretty swift around there. But I don't know. I'm saying that just because I know what the currents can be, not that I know what they are like that day.
Yeah.
I'm planning to be there with my boat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was
Rick,
that?
Thank you, Rick.
Rick. Okay.
Rick Rhodes.
Rick Rhodes. Okay. And then anybody else that will be traveling along that route? Paul, do you know? Or have you heard?
I've got one that's a definite maybe.
Okay. I think 6.
That's one of the
Yeah, it's a really good number. Just for me, if we have one per canoe, I mean, it's just that's kind of
Yeah.
how I look at it. That's really great safety boat measures there.
Mm-hmm.
I get scared saying the boat word in front of you guys. Just kidding. No, you all know you can't call a canoe a boat, right? I just want everybody to be
That's right.
100% clear, because if you're an elder, oh gosh, it's a sin to call a canoe a boat. Boats have
Go
motors,
stand in the corner.
canoes have pullers. Okay, well, that looks good. If there's 5 even on that route, and again, the numbers will change. But I think if we make that change just for traffic's sake, and I think the traffic will be a lot easier coming from Jackson and going into where the landing site there. So I'll go to page 8. If nobody has any other
Can I add one?
Go ahead.
Can I have one logistic question on that there?
Go ahead.
You're talking about an arrival into the Friday Harbor around 5-ish, 3-ish?
Around
What
4-ish, yeah. If we're after
4-ish?
4, it's okay. It's just one of those anticipating things. So, but
that's a fairly narrow and lengthy entrance to the harbor, which is in sync with the way the float planes land down, if you will, from behind you, and the ferries are coming in and out on that same traffic land. And then there's other wreck boats, of course. That's also where multiple whale watch boats are based. Typically, they're going out between, I'll say, 1 and 2 o'clock and coming back around 5:30-ish. Is usually a 3-hour tour, like Gilligan's Island. 3-hour tour, get people back onto the ferry by 5, 6. But there's a possibility, and I don't know if you welcome this or have any interest in this at all, but there could be boats that are back early, and there could be an opportunity for them to serve as a kind of escort there into that area, or toot a horn or something like that. If that's a welcome thing, we'd be, to the degree that the boats are back, that could be a fun thing possibly for us to contribute. Or if that's a distraction and not welcome, I just wanted to raise that as an option there. That's one of the closest, most easy way to get multiple escorts in a very high traffic area.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. I'm open to anything and everything. I think if they did come in, I mean, the sight to see is on the water. I just will tell each of you I've done it as a photographer, as a filmmaker, and that would be really great if Michael, if we can organize that, because right when they come around the corner, I don't know what the ferry is going to be that day, but we'll know that morning, and it'll just be it'll be great. It'll be controlled chaos, I call that. Go ahead, Rick.
Well, there is a way to avoid a lot of that traffic, but still come across where everybody on shore can see you, which is to enter Friday Harbor, leaving Brown Island to starboard. In other words, that's
South way.
Yeah, the south way. That keeps you out of a lot of trouble, so to speak.
Yeah, that avoids the air traffic and much of the boat traffic, and is plenty deep for us to get through there.
Yeah, the High North Pass is wonderful, and you go right by the UW facilities, which are interesting as well. And there's also, theoretically, if you didn't want to do Jackson, there's facility there at University of Washington Friday Harbor Labs as an alternate. But I like Jackson. Jackson's a great beach.
Yeah, I think there's going to be so many people, and they're going to be so excited that you probably will end up 100 people, 150 people. I'm just being honest, because they're going to come down and they're going to see the Hawaiians. They're going to see the Puyallup, the kids from Chief Leshai, and it's just going to be really exciting. When we do our victory paddle, it's not, how we do it is, we're coming into Friday Harbor. This is like historic. And I know there's a lot of traffic, and I think that's where we're really going to we're really going to navigate in But I think coming through the whole harbor, and people can raise their hands to, do their horns, see them in the canoes. That's going to be the excitement. That is the Trojan horse, as you will, coming into the bay. And so they're not just going to come right in and go right into the landing. No, they're going to go right around. They're going to see the ferry coming. All the people in the ferry are going to be out looking at the canoes coming through, and then they're going to really do a big victory lap coming around Turn Island, and they're going to do a big lap around so that everybody sees the canoes before they come in. That was what originally I had seen. So we're not just going into, we want to showcase the city and our friends on the island, and really build that little bit of excitement, so people say, hey, the canoes are up at the fairgrounds, shall we go? And so I think that'll be really beautiful, Michael, when we do make that victory lap. That's the celebration. That's when, I've seen people throw cedar in the water, or some actual safety boats, or people will come up to the canoe, and put wreaths on the canoe head. All these things are a part of the hospitality and the love and the sharing of the Salish spirit. And okay, time-wise, geez, I'm already past 2:16. I want to get to Orcas, San Juan to Orcas.
Freddie,
go ahead.
Go
ahead, David.
Freddie, you mentioned wreaths, and I have somebody who wants to have at her school make some wreaths. What would be the circumference? How big should they be?
Some canoes are about 4 feet. I think a good 4 foot, even a 3 foot. The Hawaiian, I think, has they don't have a real big, the head of the canoe, the Salish Sea canoes. But yeah, I think 6 feet. 6 feet is pretty big. Bart, how big is your guys' canoe? Do you know? What would be an appropriate? Is it 3 feet or 4 feet? I think
I'd probably say about 3 feet would be pretty good.
Yeah.
You talking diameter? 3 feet diameter?
Yeah, 3 foot, and then it can be as big as you want to make it. But
okay, great, thank you.
That's great.
Freddie, before we leave San Juan Island, I just want to say that because of the fire, one whole block, the street was burned down. And so it's just, there's just all of the stuff hasn't been taken away yet, all of the rubble. And so cars are not allowed to drive down to the water anymore. Off of Main Street. One good place to park, this is for the people that come in cars, one good place to park might be up at the courthouse. That's usually, that area doesn't have a time limit on it. So that's a good thing to know, because a lot of the other parking places are 2 hours, and the parking is terrible in Friday Harbor now.
Yeah.
Some of the restaurants were burned down. And so it's really sad when you look at it, but there's big spirit of rebuilding going on, and so it's not all tragic, but I just want you to know that. I've
been missing Matt all week, and now that we're 14 days away, we're gonna really iron out a map so that people are aware when you get off the ferry, and this is how you get to the campsite. Okay, so the campers will come, they'll set up right away, and then they'll probably come down and get lunch ready to meet when everybody's down at Jackson Park. I advised, and this is just me, I advised that route. I don't know the name of that actual shipping yard at the south end of south of Friday Harbor there, where the canoe landing is. But I drove the road because that's what we did on our on-site, and I suggested that be a one-way. I suggested, and I know it's a little 5-minute ride around, 5 to 10-minute ride around, but I just thought that would be advisable because people are going to park in the fields there, right at the landing. So we thought about parking. We thought about 150 cars and where they're going to park, and I says right there. It's right across the street from the landing. So we'll clarify that. Thank you for bringing that up, Nancy, because I appreciate that, because logistics, they could change at any time, and so that really helps us. Thank you. Anybody else on San Juan Island? We have an extra day. I have on a picnic at American Beach at noon. If anybody can talk with the Chamber of Commerce, if we can do a picnic, or if I don't know if there's going to be lunch. I haven't heard any details, but I know the picnic is scheduled for.
Brought in my salmon to cook.
Yeah, so if anybody has any suggestions of what, because it's a really great, going to be a great visit with the canoe families. And I'm not saying that we're going to do this again if it doesn't kill me, hint, hint. But up to this point, it's been, it's really going to be great because usually we get to one point and then we're gone the next day. So that's why I like the 2-day stopovers, because you get to see and feel and experience the spirit of the Salish Sea. And, we're all neighbors. Mm-hmm. So anything anybody can do on San Juan Island to host or suggest anything, I am willing, and take anything.
So,
yes,
Freddie,
Fred.
how are you getting them around to American camps on the other side of the island? So how
they all have cars. Yeah, I'm not in charge of transportation. Everyone is coming as everybody's going to have their vans and cars and whatnot. I think if we had somebody do a cool map of the island, maybe Jennifer, I know she was on here earlier. So, there she is. Jennifer is the graphic designer. Maybe I can ask Jennifer to help do us, just these one-pagers that will say, hey, here's the backside, here's the island, here's where you're going to land, here's the soft landing. I think that would be great if we can start working on, because I'm going to get really, really just underwhelmed. I'm already overwhelmed, but that doesn't mean that we have to make, we have friends. So,
Fred, in between the last call and this call, go ahead. Between last call and this call, I reached out to my friend at the lighthouse on the state park there on the west side of San Juan Island. Erin Cora runs, and she said that she would welcome giving sunset lighthouse tours to the folks. And she, it's not something that's publicly available typically. So it's a special dispensation, is to be able to walk up the 4 stories to the top where the lens is and look out onto that view. It's a limited size, of course, so you'd have to kind of run people up in a series, but there's picnic benches there. There's historically great wildlife viewing. The orcas can come right next to shore. It's a steep drop off. It's 50 feet, 10 feet out, 200 feet, 50 feet out. It's an amazing channel. And so the orcas do use that for traffic and forage. The residents do. And it's a beautiful view to the west of Vancouver Island, and the sunsets are spectacular from there. So I reached out to her.
They have to, usually you have to have a parking sticker, or you could talk to Erin about this actually, to get anybody from the canoe journey a free pass to get into it.
Yeah, the way it works is it's a state park, so it's a discovery pass. And so when earlier it was referenced that there would be parking passes at the other state park, my curiosity was raised of how that was going to work. But yes, you're right. Erin does have a stash of them. I don't know that she has 150, but I do know if there was a bus or a shuttle system or something like that, that would make it a lot easier. But I raised that with her, and it's one of those tell me more, let's find out kind of questions. So is it a stop off on that day? Are there discovery passes required? It's a nominal thing, but if it's 150 cars, that's a space limitation for everybody. But I just wanted to raise that as an option. I've done it a number of years. She's a great host. She's a former marine naturalist herself, former park ranger, and she can give, she can make it fun.
She'd be a great host. Also, there is a bus that goes around, but it's a little bus, and I don't know its schedule or anything. But there's
I think Cindy Hansen's. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say there's also English camp, and I don't know. Somebody said they talked to the park, somebody at the parks already. But English camp is where the storyboards were put up from, basically right. From Coast Salish from Lummi, and so a couple of people they volunteered to be out there we're doing with White Swan Environmental, which I'm also very closely associated with. They are bringing out about 10 or 15 students from Northwest Indian College. And then they want to take them, and I threw in the Navajo group in with them. They want to have people come down and hear the story of the storyboards at English camp right on the beach. So this would be another way we could kind of disperse, not putting everybody at Aaron's, park, but having them at English camp too. And that's a beautiful place at sunset too. So some of these details.
Yeah, I think that would be a great, like I said, I call it the 50-cent tour whenever I go to San. So I'll go all the way down to Cattle Point, awesome view, go out to English camp. That's where our sacred fishing ground is. Then I'll go up to False Bay. Then I'll go up to Lime Kiln and then end up at English camp at Puppy Laweth. And that's kind of the map that I was going to kind of make for people for that extra day because of the historic nature of Mitchell Bay. And that's where one of the original canoes after the Great Flood came down right there. That's why that whole ground is, that was where one of our main villages were on San Juan Island. So thank you. I like that suggestion. It gives me some good ideas to work with Jennifer. And if anyone has any, detailed maps, a digitized map that I might be able to throw up, Kai from Lopez, from San Juan Island, and then from Orcas Island, I'll get those to Jennifer and we could start brainstorming out that because we'll have 2 days on Orcas too.
Yeah, and Jennifer, the realtors have really good maps here, so that's a place you could turn to. That's what I keep in my car. I think Shirley Williams and Troy Olson said they'd love to tell the story of the storyboard. So I think we'll put that in their hands, and
they'll be here.
And yeah, that's what they said. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and when I arrive on the 18th, I'll be staying with Shirley.
Michael, did you have something, or you okay?
Yeah, I think that got covered with Nancy's comments. Thanks, Nancy. You've got a lot on the ground there going on. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and this map is going to change. I just want everyone to know this whole packet's going to change because it's going to have all the changes that I have, and I'll put those out next week. I am on page 8, San Juan to Orcas, day 4. It's low tide, which is great. Wow. At 9:15 a.m. for Friday Harbor. It's a small tide. It's only a 2-foot low. And if you guys are reading the same tide guide I am, I go to saltwatertides.com, and the high tide is at 3:01. So my question, Captain John, and the safety boats, I was thinking leaving at 9, getting up to our soft landing there at West Shore. I don't know why this looks like such a long paddle to me, but
it looks like a long paddle, but the currents are with you.
Yeah.
They're going to be cruising.
Yeah. Where
So-
would you suggest if they leave at 9, get a 3-hour paddle up to? I'm just looking at the map that I have, that south head on where they'll first reach Orcas Island. Is there a little desolate beach that they might pull off, or are there any suggestions? You know, some canoes might need to take a break. And I know we'll talk about that more, but I just want you
Well, there's
guys.
Jones Island, just about a short hop from Friday Harbor, and there's a little the North Harbor there, and there's a beach where they could go in. They're going to make great time, and so you know if they leave it at 9 again, going the 3 knots that my canoe family now says they can go, they would get all the way to Camp Orcala by about 12:15.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So they could be. So that was the one thing that I was worried about of the resort. Okay, if we have a soft landing, and just like at Spencer Spit and Jackson Beach, it's really kind of it's real personal when you have a soft landing, and a lot of times I don't know how many people are on Orcas, but they'll come down to the soft landing and just to see the canoes come ashore. Are we, David, okay? Do we need to think about parking at the soft landing? I'm just trying to be realistic.
Yeah, I haven't been to West Beach a whole lot of times. Other people on this call maybe have, but there isn't much parking right there. The street leading up to the beach, you can kind of pull over to the side, but we're not sending that many people to go to the, well, let me take that back. So are all of the canoes going to have a vehicle coming with lunch for them at the soft landing? Is that the idea? Or are you waiting for, because Katie said she could shuttle people from Orcala over to West Beach, but it's a question of how many vehicles you want to have there.
I'm speaking from the Scullage. We're planning to pack our lunches with us on the canoe and support boat.
Slows everything down.
I couldn't quite hear
Okay,
that.
that's Mary. Okay, so I'm looking at a map of what's the Enchanted Forest Road? Is that where West Beach is?
It's, yes, if you go
Okay.
straight down the hill and across where Enchanted Forest curves left,
Okay.
keep going straight, you come to West Beach.
Okay, that's great. Okay, and there's nothing. There's no other beaches that have that kind of beach. Okay, yeah, there's no roads down there. Okay. Okay, well, we'll have to make do and let everybody know that that our parking will be limited down there. Yeah, David.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, David. So just so everybody knows, we'll be on Orcas Island. If you want to come join us, we're starting at around 2:00-ish. We might even be there a little earlier. We're doing orientation on May 12th. And I know Deb is just dying to come out to Orcas Island with us. And but everybody is welcome. If you want to see what we're going to go do and how we do orientation, if you're a volunteer and you're on the island there, let's get that out. And that's next week. Okay.
It's this coming Thursday. So I'm going to put something out to all my Orcas volunteers. So those of you from Orcas on this call, we're going to meet at Oddfellows Hall at 2:30. And then a little before 3:30, we're going to travel over to West Beach to see what the soft landing would be like. Then we're going to head over to Orcala and meet with Katie of Orcala to show us the facilities at Orcala. So anybody on Orcas is welcome to come to that. Anybody from the other islands is certainly welcome, but I don't know if you want to make the journey over to Orcas or not.
We'll try and film it too, just so people get a feel of what's happening on our island here, you know, as because every island, every stop is going to be different, but it just gives you a good feel of, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to any of the other islands. I hope to, but I can't do it in one day and then go to the top of the mountain. But I think that if they have their own lunch, okay, so safety boats. So we got our two leaders. Okay, are there any other safety boats that are going to make that route, David, that we're aware of?
Yeah, Rick is going to, and Will is also going to.
Okay.
I have a question about, have we scheduled a meeting for the safety boat skippers to discuss what may go wrong and what we should do about it if it does?
Yeah, I just, again, I was hoping to really cover that. I think this this gives us a really good idea. I think, David, we should have our own meeting with the skippers. Okay, not everybody, just with the skippers, their seconds, and the safety boat operators. And I think that would be really good to do for an orientation. I think sooner than later, when we get either next week or, you know, I really want everybody to hear Uncle Ron. So he didn't get back to me. I thought he would be on because I would have passed it over to him and just let him talk with the safety boats about, you know, the importance. I mentioned leaving, communicating, and then if there's an emergency, heaven forbid, you know, what are our safety protocols that we're going to follow? I don't know
Ron
where
and Kathy coming on this cruise? Freddie?
I'm sorry?
Are Ron and Kathy coming? Are they operating as a safety boat?
No.
This time?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, and I wanted to specifically be listening in on those key pieces of information. We have multiple boats that are 40 knot speed, several that are 25 knot that are going to be in all areas available in a first, if not second response role faster than a lot of folks, just because we're pre-positioned on our tour. So we want to know what channel to listen to, what protocols you have, right. What to anticipate, what out, you know, like we're in the area, you know, we'd hate to have something go wrong, weather does turn, accidents, you know, who could ever want that to happen? But I certainly do want to say that you know, our fleet would be right there if we would want to know how to be effective doing that.
Yeah, that's great to know. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, Michael, that'll be a great resource because my max speed is about 6.5 knots. So it'd be nice to be able, if we had an emergency, to have someone who could respond.
Yeah, literally a couple of our boats were bought in part because they were Coast Guard demo boats from Australia and other parts where it's like, yeah, that's nice. 3 200 horsepower motors on the back of a 40-footer. Yeah, we get on plane.
I think all of us safety boats and skippers, because we'll know everybody by May 19th. It's a Thursday. It's before all the other orientations. That's when I'm going to go down and see Uncle Ron, just because he used to do Stalmish with me for the years. You know, for the organizers, you know, where the local hospital is, if somebody needs to get to Anacortes, or, you know, I think those are they're very realistic scenarios that we have to anticipate. I'm always, you know, safe than sorry. And I think if all of us, if we can get the entire list of everybody that's coming out on the safety boat, And if the 19th works, that's the day before all the other orientations. So,
And maybe it could be recorded so anybody who couldn't make it can watch it.
yeah, we can either do that, or we could do next Saturday. But
I can't come next Saturday. I'm not sailing. But
yeah, I think doing it right before the event, because and then we also can we can you know, the other thing we could do as a part of the orientation is Deb Cruz might be able to help, and we could break out. I tend not to, but just for the safety and well-being, and we'll know all the skippers on the 19th. We'll know all the canoes and the safety boats. And I think this is probably the what time is a good time?
What day are we talking about?
Thursday the 19th.
Oh.
I was thinking 5 because I know a lot of people work. 6 o'clock. I don't anticipate it going longer than an hour, because we'll have a lot of our just from here on the mainland, just the experience of those that done all of the canoe journeys, just to share their knowledge and their experience on the canoe journey.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Seattle all day that day. I'm not sure my schedule yet. If I can't make it at 5 o'clock, it'll be recorded, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rick,
Yeah.
I'll catch up with you between here and there.
Okay.
I mean, I can meet Rick at the post office. It's easy.
Yeah,
anyway,
One more thing, we on San Juan Island, we have a really good fire and EMT group here. And if I could get their phone numbers and let them know that the canoe journey will be taking place, and who would I send them to, Freddie? And then we could put that on the back of the map, maybe, that there's a hospital in the number, the EMT.
You know, that's it. Thank you for bringing that up, Nancy. So Kai, Matt, and David are really the leads. I would put him in touch with David. Kai and David, I'm just letting you know, they're going to be on the grounds on the day of, just for safety, because they know that there's going to be more people at that event. And should the emergency, I usually go and visit the fire marshal or the captain, and just invite them to come down and see the canoes come in, and if they could stand by during the rush hour there, that would be great, because then that way the staff there, the parking staff, can get them priority parking at every stop. That's kind of what we do, especially the landing, that your EMTs, your fire truck, and your police department have some priority parking there, so they can just zip out, or if they need to come all the way down to the grounds. Those are realistic scenarios that we like to plan for if such an emergency comes up. So,
and just to let you know, the only hospital in the islands is in Friday Harbor. On Lopez and Orcas, we have EMTs, and also the people, all of the staff at Orkyla are trained in first aid, but the only hospital is Peace Health in Friday Harbor.
That's good to know. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, I have a comment.
Here, there's 2 airlift companies, and if you have to be airlifted out, it's very expensive. So most of us have this Airlift Northwest insurance, which is pretty cheap to get. But that's just another component.
With saying that too, David and Kai, every event that I do, I have event insurance. I go through the tribe. Some of the larger Camp Orkyla probably got it, but we have event insurance, and that's just, again, just
Oh, good.
protection. Yeah.
Excellent.
This is Mary. I have a comment, please.
Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah. So there was a support boat. The journey guide that was being updated last fall, and I'm pretty sure it has some of the information about being a support boat captain in it. Is there? They have in the past. So I'm assuming that it was there. Is there access to that final version that's available for release? We can give that to the support boat people ahead of time so they can start familiarizing themselves with the safety support role in the journeys and some of the emergency protocols that are probably listed in there.
Do you got that link, Kai? Jeff Smith has the link.
Jody, do you have it?
I don't think Jody's on.
Oh, okay, she went off. All right.
Yeah, I don't want to take up too much. Wow, but we covered a lot, you guys. Thank you. This was a really good meeting. Mary, what do you want to say with the safety boats? I think again, they're really, vessel traffic, ferry traffic. I just make sure, when we talk about CB channels, I was just going to suggest 22 for the year, and your backup would be 2. I just was trying to think of some numbers that just so we all are passing around. Hey, we're all on 22, and if it's too busy, hey, we're all switching over to 2. And then I want to make sure, I don't know if any of the canoe captains are going to have CBs on their canoes, but that's again, that's a skipper call. I think I have to remind everybody right now that COVID is still going around. And I just want to say, hey, if you don't have to travel, and you just take care. Yeah, I want everyone to be able to come on the journey. And oh, dang it, I took my mask off and went to that gathering. And I just really want to emphasize too that everyone, please be careful in the next 14 days, because we're coming through the territory, because we're going to be exposed to elders, because we want to do this in a good way. And we all said we were going to be vaccinated. I'm getting boosted, I'm getting boosted next week, my 4th. And I figure I better do it now so I could feel bad and, get over my sickness next week and really be fully vaccinated. When some of the safety boats, again, just reminding you, Deborah Horn might be here from Cairo 7, Seattle Times reporter Alan Berner or Linda Mapes just maybe jumping on that morning, the 22nd. The PBS documentary series, Native America, is sending a 5-man team to come out and film in Camp Orkila when they depart on the 27th for Lummi. That was my exciting news. If you ever watch Native America, they just do a phenomenal job. You could YouTube their channel on PBS. And Gary Glassman and the group, they do amazing work. And it's all about the salmon. So when you talk to the schools, you talk with anybody just on that 27th when we depart Orcas and we're coming to Lummi. If you're coming to Lummi, bring your salmon. We are all salmon people, and that's what we're protecting. And so it's really exciting. I wasn't anticipating to get the coverage, but because we're honoring Jewel James, because we're doing this grassroots, and we have the Alliance of Earth, Sky, and Water Protectors on with us too. It's going to be, I hope you can make it to the landing here at Lummi on the 27th, because that's going to be kind of a real big day for me. and for all of our communities and for especially our canoes coming in. And so, questions, anybody? Go ahead,
Yeah, I have
David.
another comment. That last day, the currents will be against us all the way to Lummi.
Yes, day 6. Go ahead, David.
But since
Yeah, I
we
just
go
wanted-
3 knots now, we can make it just barely.
I wanted to give a chance for us to hear which support boats were going to be going from Orcas to Lummi, because I think Dave Roseberry had to leave, but he already said he was going all the way, as was
Okay.
Captain John. Rick, are you going to continue from Orcas? Thank you. I know, Will, you won't be able to do that. I've got Carol on here. So Carol, are you still here? Carol was a possibility, but I think she might have had to leave. So anyway, you got at least 3 that we know of at this point. And yours, Bart, that's 4. Okay, good.
Okay. And then Bart, you'll have one all the way, right?
If it's going to be that difficult, you probably should have the extra boats there, right?
Yeah. Well, this is gonna the landing day. That's just gonna be that'll be just a great visit for anybody and everybody.
And Dave Roseberry had mentioned that he would have up to 2 other boats. So if we can get him to get his 2 other boats on that journey that day, that would be great.
How long are the canoes?
Okay.
How long are the canoes?
Yeah.
How long's your canoe, Mary?
22 feet.
Thanks.
And Chief Leshai's is like about 31 feet.
You will definitely.
And how many people are paddling in each of these canoes of 20, 30 feet?
We'll have a maximum of 9 people on ours, maximum at any one time.
And Chief Leshai will have 10 on the canoe plus the skipper.
And the outrigger will have 6 on the at any given time, plus probably extra. Or 6 pulling.
Yeah, that paddle doesn't look. So we plan on leaving at 10. I'm not sure, David. Maybe if we could find out what the schedule is for the those that are the land crew that's going to have to. I was going to suggest they leave like by 8 or 9, just so they can make the long haul all the way around, whereas the canoes are just going a couple of miles, if you know what I mean. But I imagined leaving at 10. So we have the soft landing at Gooseberry Point at 1. I think they'll get there at noon. That's just me. But you know, give or take the what time anybody leaves, because the tide is going to be low tide is at 10:30 at Gooseberry Point. It's a 2-foot tide. So if they come around, if the tide is just starting to slow down at 10 and they're coming around Parker Reef, I figure they might hit the slack tide there. That was what I was anticipating. That's why I said 10 o'clock.
Freddie, on ferry times for the cruise, there's the earliest one would be 6:45 in the morning. Then there's a 8:45, and then there's a 12:25. And that's a Friday, so that's a pretty popular day for travel. So the sooner they make reservations, the better.
Do they have to make reservations getting off the island?
Oh yeah, it's either way. You don't have to pay getting off the island, but you do need a reservation.
So we'll start working. We'll have the when do they have to make their reservations getting off the island?
Well, it's just dependent on when they are available. So I would say, you know, as was said earlier, 2 weeks in advance of the day, another batch of reservations are available. So That's a
7
Friday.
a.m.
So Friday the 11th, this coming Friday, would, if they get up at 7 in the morning and get on the ferry system website or call, they can make reservations for the 25th. So that would be my recommendation to do. Otherwise, if they miss out on the 11th, they could do the same thing on the 23rd, but they're already going to be, you know, in the middle of the journey. So it's going to be kind of not as convenient. So I would say do it on the 11th.
So some people will definitely be leaving at 6:45 in the morning. That's what we're saying, right?
That's one possibility. That would probably be the one with the most available.
I think that would be the most. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't know those, but I think that 6:45 one. And that's, you know what? That's it. That's going to be the reality, I think, for yeah. Because we're 2 weeks out from starting. We're 3 weeks out from, you know, the honoring day. So that's good to know those times for the leaving Orcas, right?
Yeah, and if you just go to WSF on the internet, you'll get the Washington State Ferries website.
Okay.
Hey, Freddie?
Yeah.
Is the route on that going to Lummi going to be over the top of Orcas Island or down through what is now called the Harney Passage, Harney Channel?
No, it's just going to go, it's just a straightaway there.
Over the top?
Yeah. If they get pulled down by like Barnes and Clark, I imagine the tide is going to pull them or push them one way.
Okay.
But,
the only thing about going that way on the north side of the island is it can be pretty rough up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking at my charts, Freddie, even going 3 knots, our canoe now at their new 3-knot speed, it has current against them the whole way. Sometimes as little as half a knot, sometimes as much as 1.5 knots, which means that if they left at 9, they can get to the Victory at about 4, but they won't make a soft landing at Gooseberry at 1.
If they leave early, and
well,
again,
if they left at 8, they could. Well, let me just punch it in just a second.
Yeah, that's why I have 9 a.m. on here. I just looked at this. I have 9 a.m. Sorry.
Yeah, if they leave at 8, they can get to Stomach by about 3:13. So I guess that gives them about an hour at the soft landing place. They would get into the soft landing about 1:12. Well,
yeah,
no, that's not.
Yeah,
no, they get after that. They get there about 1:30.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a very long pole. This is the shortest leg, if not.
No, I know, but the current will be against them is the thing.
Yeah.
And it's the current is strongest against them on that last leg.
So, Captain John, you're talking about going over the top north of the island?
Over the top of Lummi, yeah. So because
no, I'm talking about over the top.
And so
of
to do a soft landing, that's where they go.
You're talking about going north of Orcas?
Yeah, well, they're leaving from Camp Orcas. That's on the.
So you're talking about going over the top of Orcas?
Yeah, it's the shortest route.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do fine. They will do fine.
Okay.
And the other thing is, if it gets to be a problem, they tie alongside, climb aboard, and I can cover ground.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world. It's just that they won't be able to pull the whole way there.
We have no idea what the weather's going to be like. I mean, looking at
that's true too.
Past few days, man, it's just been, this has been the coldest winter since I was a kid.
You know, Freddie, the last time we came to Lummi and when our crew was going on the east side of Orcas, they had some pretty rough stuff, but boy, like the good native troopers they were, they pulled through, so it was great.
Yeah, yeah. David, Did we have any question? Any question?
No.
Any other questions?
I didn't have my hand up, sorry.
If they leave earlier, I have 9 a.m. And that was just so they can get halfway across. That'll be the slack tide there at 10:30, coming across, and then getting to Point Migley there, and then it's to Gooseberry Point, the soft landing there.
Remember, tides and currents are not at the same time, and that can get a little confusing.
Yeah. And then, so the soft landing, there's if any of the right there at Gooseberry, for those that know Gooseberry, there's a dock and everything that you can pull up to. Yeah, and that was a lot to cover. Does that 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock for the 19th with all the skippers and the captains of the safety boats? Does that work? Does 5 or 6 o'clock?
I can do 5 or 6.
Okay,
I can't do any earlier than that.
I'm gonna do 5. Okay, and this is just for safety boat and canoe skippers and okay. And feel free to share the link when I put it out, Dave and Kai. And we'll have Uncle Ron, and then like I say, by then we'll have a nice, a real good. Again, I use agendas for guides, so and then it's the tide. The tide changes everything, so I'm like, oh, okay, it's probably going to be 6:02. But that was a long meeting. I know it's 3 now, everybody, and that was a good meeting, though. I have to say thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Freddie. Thanks to everybody who attended. Thanks to all the skippers who are going to be involved in this. This is great.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Freddie, and thanks for the invite. Boy, wow.
Yes, and anybody coming to Lummi, just let me know if you need mooring in Bellingham. I'm gonna ask Deb Cruz to call our good friend at the port. Oh God, I can't think of his name, and how come I can't think of his name? And we just got him reelected.
Mike Shepard.
Mike Shepard, and okay. So let's make sure anybody that's coming over and coming to Lummi, you guys can moor there too. When you get to Lummi, if you just want to moor right away or drop off or bring your dinghy ashore, we'll show you where to moor. There's a deep water drop off, so that's the only thing that you have to remember about the Stomach grounds is they're a deep water drop off, and it gets really shallow really fast. But it looks like those tides will be. It's a high tide at 5:32, which is kind of perfect for us for landing at 4, which will mean everyone will be ashore by 5:30, and then we'll be singing and dancing all night long with our potlatch. Deb, anything else? Anybody else have anything to say? Jana, we going clam digging next week?
Yes, you just give me a date, and I've got a couple of people that want to join us so we can get some clams.
Right. Hey, everybody. Thank you,
time.
Lucas,
Bye, guys.
Deb, Captain John. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Mike.
Great meeting, Freddie. Thank you.
Oh, nice. Good to see you, Carol. David. Oh, my goodness.
Freddie.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Freddie, we'll see you on Thursday. We'll see you Thursday the 12th.
Okay. See you all next week. Thank you.
Bye.